Good evening, Blood Bowl fans, and welcome back to another episode of Superfed TV presents REL action for Divisions 1, 2, and 3. I'm your host, Superfed TV. Joining me today is ArchXL
Hey,
and
what's
Rumblebee.
Hey.
Sorry I cut you off there, Arch.
you did? Made me sad.
Well, thanks for coming on, guys. So we're going to kick things off with Division 3, as we usually do. And starting with the results for weeks, and this is covering weeks 10 and 11, since both those are all done now. So going back to week 10, just looking at a couple of the big playoff deciding games. Skinky Island Boys won 2-1 over not FDA approved. The High Elves have been slipping and sliding in the rankings from when they were at the top, mostly because of the deaths that they've been suffering, but the Strength 5 Freak got the MVP that week. And Skinky Island Boys got 22 armor breaks out of 47 blocks. That's pretty good. Other results for that week.
Wasn't that the week that he got his move bust? Super
Maybe.
Dragon?
Yes, maybe. That makes sense. Yep, because he was gone week 11, I think.
Yeah.
And then Howl at the Moon, you got a win over REBBL Rousers, so that's kind of you getting back on track. And Dimension C137 got the 2-1 win over Cenobite the Curb.
2-0.
Or, yeah, 2-0. That game was crazy. Chainsaw was the MVP of that game. Not literally the MVP, but in the sense of it got like 3 removals, including a sack on the ball. And then week 11, this one's a little bit more recent and a little bit more important. The biggest match was an upset. Howl at the Moon was able to upset Dimension C137. Tell us a little bit about that game.
Well, originally my plan was to avoid his mummies completely. Just feed them a couple of zombies and keep everyone away from them. But Tommy managed to remove 3 players in the first turn, so I had to completely shift, and he had committed pretty hard to one side to get rid of those guys. So I just pumped everything I had into the mummies, and I got both mummies off the pitch, and things just kind of went downhill for Tommy after that. He had a couple of fouls that didn't work, and he got sent off, and then I killed his ball carrier because he based Rod with it, and then I was just off to the races. He couldn't catch me.
Basing a jump up palm tackle piece is probably unwise.
Did he base it while Rod was on the ground?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's makes more sense.
Because he was going to foul it, right?
Yeah, he fouled him, and the foul didn't work.
How many assists?
I want to say it was either a 42 or a 54%.
Dang.
That's
Wow.
unlucky.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't a great foul, but it wasn't a bad foul.
High risk, high reward. High risk, no reward.
Yeah.
That's rough. Well, okay. Well, that's a big one for you. That really does shake up the leaderboard. And then not FDA approved lost again to the REBBL Rousers. Not having their stat freak elf on the pitch allowed the humans to kind of play the control game. And 2 deaths again for not FDA approved. So, Arch, how does it feel having elves lose piece after piece after piece after piece? I think he's leading the league with 14 deaths this season.
If they're blitzers and not your famous blitzer, they're okay because blitzers are kind of okay out of the box. If they're linemen, that's okay because linemen are kind of okay out of the box. Catchers are the worst because they have no skills.
I can tell you he's lost 1 catcher and 4 linemen and 2 blitzers.
Yeah, I kind of feel like his secondary blitzer is there to be like, here, hit this instead of.
He's also lost a thrower. He lost the second blitzer because of the Blood Bowl league manager bug, and another lineman. So yeah, he's lost a lot. That's not counting the agi busts and strength busts.
And AV busts.
Yeah, he's lost a lot. It's crazy. Well, hope it turns around for him. ATL's a great coach, and I've mentioned many times I expected him to be placed higher. And then in week 11, we also had the Three Mountains getting the win over Lords of Decay. So that's going to kind of firmly plant Casabulu in first place.
Yeah, I'm 1 point behind him. Just gotta hope that the elves can pull off some elf stuff next week.
When it
Yeah.
pulls Callisti out of contention, right?
I think that did. Yeah. If we're looking at
there was
the... Good.
There was an extremely unlikely chance where if all 4 people at the top lost out and Callisti won out, he could have eked his way into 3rd place. But yeah, he's done.
Yeah, because he can only get 23 points on the rest of the season. So
Yeah. That would be interesting. That would take Lizards, Undead, and the High Elves all to lose out, and the other Necro team.
Yeah.
But possible. So yeah, looking at the leaderboard, Casabulu is in first with 26 points. That's going to mean that 27 would be the minimum for first place, which I'm looking at here is probably going to be achieved this week. No, I guess we can look at which ones have played. So Three Mountains did beat not FDA approved. So that's why he's at 26. And Howl at the Moon, Rumblebee, got the win over the Orcs. So that's going to be 25 points for you. So yeah, if Tommy Too Tall wins, he would be tied with 25 points with you. And that kind of would keep everybody else out of it. At this point, Wave is going to be the closest one. He's got his match to play still, and he's at 21 points. So he's just 1 point behind Tommy Too Tall.
Yeah, he's playing the other Necro team this week. So
yeah, really, Necromantic Newbies are going to play Kingmaker with the potential, the outside chance of getting into the playoffs if they win both their games, and if the human team is able to upset the undead team. That's how Necromantic Newbies could get in. But that's a tall task.
Yeah, I mean his dice have been pretty hot lately, and Tommy's armor is folding like paper. So
yes, and the Lizards have struggled against Necro, so there's potential for any of those 4 teams to kind of come up with things. It is still possible also for ATL and not FDA approved to make it, I believe. He would need to win his last game and then all the other teams losing that we've been talking about.
Yeah.
Tiebreakers are also a possibility. I guess I'll briefly go over the TD differentials. Casabulu is currently at 11. Rumblebee, you're at 8, but you've played this week. Tommy Too Tall's at 7. He hasn't played this week, so if he also wins, he's going to be at least at 8 with you.
Right.
Skinky Island Boys is at 9, and ATL's at 6. Necromantic Newbies are at 4. So tiebreakers are just kind of going to go in the favor of the people that are in the front, with the exception of Wave. He actually would have the tiebreaker over both you and Tommy.
Yeah. Thankfully, even if he wins, I still got a point on him. At least this week.
You would have to draw for him to get a chance, or
no, you would have to lose.
you'd have to lose. Yeah.
Because if you get a draw, he would have to get a win.
That's right. Fun. So I guess if we want to take a quick peek at a couple teams here in the division that are playing for spots, I guess we can take a quick peek at Wave's team. I'm curious to see. We're gonna look at the teams that are on the outside looking in. So we'll look at Skeeky Island Boys. The biggest decision, which he actually made it. He was talking about this in chat today. Bruiser, the Saurus with piling on. He got doubles, and so he was questioning whether or not he should get jump up or possibly even dodge. Doesn't ever feel good to skip a double, but reality is, I think he made the right call. I think tackle is mandatory. What do you guys think?
I think if he actually wanted to have anything on the ground to pile on, he needed tackle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, jump up on AG1 It's just a 50% chance.
Yeah, well, only if you're looking to do the block. It's more for the positioning and the movement. But I think Lizards are a pretty high movement team in the first place. So if you look at Division 1, which we're going to get to, 130 is the top Lizard, basically the top Lizard in the league, I would argue, right now. And he's got a Palmer with tackle and jump up. But the point that I made was he got jump up after tackle. And I'm fine with it after tackle. But tackle's just so important that you can't really put that off until you get to 76 SPP.
Yeah, especially since he only had the one tackle piece.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it was a
Can't
frenzy
really-
piece, which is not something you always want to blitz with.
Right. Yep. The other option I think was break tackle, which I think is probably better for him at 76 now that he's got tackle. And then you've got some options there. Moving on to the rest of his team, he's got an Agi 4 skink and a movement up skink. Went sidestep after the movement up. I think that's a little surprising. I probably would have suspected he would have gone sprint to make the one turn better. Either you guys played around with lizards?
I think sidestep gets you the one square easier, but yeah, I think sprint probably would have.
But he's got to do 2 blocks now.
Yeah, easier to get the push off with sidestep, but sprint would have just given you an extra square.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would have taken sprint. Getting the extra push is not that hard.
Well, and I mean, he's probably going to be carrying the ball with either the Agi 4 or the block one, and those have sidestep too. So if the movement one is only purpose is for one turns, to me sprint would be more important. But he's only one touchdown away from getting sprint probably, so we'll see if he ends up doing that. And then the other team we're going to take a look at is Yoichi Hiruma's Necromantic Newbies, since we do have a Necro coach. Missing a werewolf. How bad does that feel?
That's the worst. It is absolutely the worst.
And it's his tackle one too.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully he's got Zach Sanchez, which is like a backup blitzer for him. So he might not feel the loss of the mighty blow too badly. But coming up, he's playing Wave coming up. You're
Mhm.
going to want that claw. And I don't know. It's hard to necro without both wolves.
It's much easier to hunt skinks with a werewolf than it is a white, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a really interesting match. I didn't realize that they were playing each other this week when I saw that werewolf was missing next game.
Yeah. So when I played Wave, I didn't have Rod, which immediately makes my game very, very hard because I don't know how to necro without Rod. And I went for sources as opposed to skinks, and I did really well. I got most of his sources off the pitch, but he still managed to pull out a tie. So
I think a tie is probably the best case scenario for you and Chaos Abulio and Tommy, because that kind of keeps both of them down.
Yeah, it gives us some breathing room.
Because if either of them win, they're going to be just right there on the heels.
Yeah.
Interesting. Cool. And then that's a niggled kick zombie. Is that an issue? I think I'd probably fire it.
I wouldn't.
I'd wait until one of the other ones leveled up and then fire it.
Yeah.
Yeah, a niggle on a regen player isn't really that big of a deal, especially since you really only need your kick zombie to do something once if things go according to plan. So you use them, and then whatever happens.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like I had a niggled guard block zombie for a season and a half, and it was all right. Nothing really happened to him until he took like 4 perms in 3 games, and then I fired him.
Yeah, I'm carrying a niggle myself, so I can't judge too much. Any other teams you guys want to talk about before we move on to Division 2?
Well, you can talk about my team real quick,
All right, we
because
can pop in since you're here. Since you're here, nothing's
well,
really changed other than, you've lost all your whites.
I'm
yeah.
gonna put on my sunglasses. This is too pink for me.
This is a very pink necro team.
Yeah, well, those are the best undead uniforms. So,
No,
um,
blue and yellow stars. Sorry.
gross. Get out of here. Yeah, no, my white was looking a little too much like a golem, I guess. Strength 4, stand firm, guard. Nuffle took him. I paid the
How
golem tax.
how happy will you be when John Cutesack rolls a double?
I hope.
Because he's going to die the next match, so it's not going to matter. I mean, I wouldn't
Right.
get too excited about it.
I don't know if I would skip the double or not. I mean,
No.
Blodge Guard
You can't.
is great, but I need some more Mighty Blow, man.
You do. That's true. I mean, I every time I watch Rod, he's getting fouled, and the foul's failing. So it's not like it's been an issue yet. But at some point, like, you're gonna have, a missing next game Wolf, or even just if he's knocked out, you're gonna have somebody else to blitz with.
Yeah. So
Fair
I'm
enough.
thinking as soon as my whites level up, I might give one of them Mighty Blow.
For the first level.
Yeah, which I feel dirty doing because that's not their job. But
Yeah.
I need it. So
Yeah. Fair enough. All right. Well, let's move on to Division 2. Week 10. Looking at the matches here. Week 10 was a little bit more eventful. So we'll kind of look at these a little bit more first before I look at Week 11. You'll see why. So first of all, Fruity Kisses upset Rats Off to You with a 4-3 win. It's a big deal. Rats Off to You was, at the time, I believe, in second place when that loss occurred. And then Steve got the win over Typos Happen. Leafy Mustard got the win over Iron Madden. Mainland Rodders lost to Ace Trucking Company. And Live Tree or Die Hard lost to me, and they were in first place, so that was a nice upset. And Non-Anime Sports Team took the win over Snovgard. So this kind of shook things up at this point. I believe both Non-Anime Sports Team and Brazzers were able to catch up and pass Golgothan's Rats Off to You at this point. And then Duberman was just hanging on to first place by 1 point. Then Week 11 happened, and 4 of the 5 playoff teams tied. So you have Non-Anime Sports Team and Live Tree or Die Hard tied. Brazzers and Mainland Rodders tied. Ace Trucking Company and Leafy Mustard tied. Rats Off to You and Tree Kundo tied. The only team that won that was in playoff contention was Steve, and that propelled them from, I want to say, 7th place to 1st place. So that was quite the week.
yeah, but he paid for that win with half of his team, though.
He did suffer some losses on exchange.
I mean, I feel like that's the story of playing against Gengar.
Yeah.
You win and you die.
It's the troll toll. No other way to describe it. Got to pay the toll if you want to pass the troll. Tell me about your game against Live Tree or Die Hard, Arch.
How to put this in a nice way. I could have scored at the end of the first half to go to tie, and then go into my drive tied.
Mm-hmm.
But the ball 1 and 8'd out of bounds into basically the perfect spot where I couldn't get to it. Where if it had gone any other way, I could have picked it up. I could have picked it up with like 6 elves. Like I had that area of the field covered, and it went to the one spot where I was like, oh, that's right next to his tree. Fudge.
I do want to say that there's a little bit of a dice disparity. Am I reading this correctly that 77% of his dodges succeeded? He had 10 failures, and you had 2 failures.
Probably.
And then you succeeded 4 leaps. He failed 2 leaps and succeeded 2. That's looking a little slanted to me.
Yeah, no, I should have won that game. don't take this in any way other than I should have won that game. The reason
Yeah.
it tied is because after that, so he got a blitz on the halftime drive to when I was supposed to have the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Got the ball. We screwed around with it over in the corner for a while. I managed to leap onto the ball and get it out of there. And then I stalled for the rest because I was like, nope, this game's going to end in a tie.
Nice.
I'm not giving
Okay.
you another chance. And it felt so
Nice.
dirty while I did it. Ugh.
It's playing orc ball. Stalling for the tie. Learn
Yep.
something from me now.
It was the worst. I did manage to give the ball to my my thrower, so he might actually level up sometime.
Oh, think so.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll see. We'll get to that. And then also my match, I guess I can talk about a little bit. So against Duberman, I played in the week before. I just got the removals. So the best part was though, turn 1, I set up and I don't put anyone on the tree. I put a lineman 1 square back from the tree, and then I get a quick snap. So I reposition all my guys around his guys to make sure I get all the blocks. And I decide, you know what, screw it. I'll put the lineman next to the tree. I take my turn, I make my blocks, I pile on, I foul, whatever. And then it's his turn. And his first action, he wants to move the tree next to my pile on piece. He didn't see that I had done the quick snap and moved my guy up. And it's obvious he watches from straight on BB2 cam. And so he didn't see the guy.
Wait,
Maybe.
so hiding people behind the tree works both ways?
Yes, apparently. So he failed his 6+ dodge, or 5+ dodge, and immediately goes, oh shit. And basically, because that was his first action too, he didn't re-roll it, but he got a lot of hits the second turn. And at that point, because I had kickoff return, my ball carrier was already into his side of the pitch before he even moved a single piece. So he couldn't even get in front of me to screen or stall or anything. And so I just spent 8 turns beating the crap out of him before the second half. And then I was able to outnumber him. So I kind of got away with one against the first place team there. But
well, I mean, this is a dice game.
Exactly.
You gotta get lucky.
I'll take it. We'll blame the quick snap on that one. So then now we can look at kind of, I guess, the leaderboard before we look at everything else. This is the closest division in the entire league. I looked. Yayo is now currently in first place because he's the only team that won last week. That was in playoff hunt. Live Tree or Die Hard has stalled. He's been at how many points is that? 19 points for the last 3 weeks. Or I guess he was at 18 points and then he tied. So, yeah, he got 1 point in the last 3 weeks. Not an anime sports team, Brazzers. So us, Arch and I, are tied. And then right behind us by 1 point is Rats Off to You, which is Golgothan's team. 1 point behind him is Grizoot. And 1 point behind him is Pig Sofa. So it's anybody's game still. Zwark and Gengar technically also could find their way there if they won out and everybody else needed to lost, I believe.
Well, Zark definitely can because he plays, I think, 2 of the top teams.
Yeah.
So if he wins out, he's forcing other people to lose.
Well, especially if you and I tie. But we'll get to that too. So, yeah, it's basically any of the top 9 teams are still in contention theoretically, which is just nuts for 3 seeds. That's just how close it is. And if you look at the overall statistics, 6-2-3, 5-4-2, 5-3-3, 4-6-1. Can't believe I'm there with 6 draws. 5-2-4, 4-4-3, 4-3-4. Basically what it comes to is it's a game of rock, paper, scissors between everybody in this league. And some people can beat some people, but they can't beat other people, and a lot of us just draw.
Ties for the tag ad.
Yep. So, looking at what's left. The most important match, which is essentially Duel of the Fates, is us. Brazzers versus Not an Anime Sports Team, which is going to be played like 3 hours from now. And yeah.
And it's going to take 3 hours because I'm taking the whole time.
Yeah, I know you're going to stall because everybody knows what triggers me. You're also probably going to pocket a wizard.
Uh,
Oh gosh. Anyway, so that's like numero uno matchup right now for this division, and that'll decide probably who's going to get third place most likely, depending on what the teams above us do. So Gengar gets to play Duberman and could potentially take the guy that's been in first for a long time and knock him out of not playoff contention, but knock him out of competing for first seed. If Gengar wins that one. The other one, I guess there's a lot of other ones, but Rats Off to You versus Leafy Mustard. This is two playoff teams that are playing against each other. This is fourth place playing against fifth place against sixth place. So one of these two teams will possibly be able to rise to compete for that third seed, or they could tie and knock each other out, which is kind of in the same boat that you and I are in.
mm-hmm.
And then Trikundo takes on Steve, who's currently in first place. And so this wouldn't knock Yayo out of the playoffs. I think this would just make it so if he did lose this one, he's again now competing for third seed instead of first seed. And then if everything goes just bad, believe it or not, the division could get closer at the end of this week than it is right now. If you and I draw, if Leafy Mustard and Rats Off to You draw, and if Steve loses to Treat Kundo, and if Gengar beats Live Tree or Die Hard,
We're all going to be at like 19 points.
Yes, our margin now goes from 20 to 15 points to 20 to 18 points.
Now
so
I know why
bad.
Herringsward hasn't like done anything for this.
Our division,
like-
yes, our division is never going to be looked at by Herringsward because there's just until it's week 13 and it's all decided. It's just crazy. It's crazy. So since you and I are playing, and I've decided that it's the most important match, we're even next to each other on the little shields. Let's look at your team, and then we'll look at my team. You dropped 30K in bank. Don't think I didn't notice that.
I would have told you.
So you didn't buy a bench, did you?
Nope.
Okay. I was expecting the bench. I really was.
Yeah.
Because now I can. Knockouts are gold for me at this point.
Yeah.
At least in my opinion.
I mean,
You're
elves
riding
do
the
elf
lightning.
shit.
You're
Yeah.
riding the lightning.
No, I'm either gonna win this game or my team's gonna die, or probably both.
No, not both. Not both. Both is not an option.
No, I'm gonna knock you out of the playoffs and then lose in the first round again. It's fated.
I hate you. For those of you that don't know, I was not able to go to the playoffs by 1 point last season. Coincidentally.
The real reason that this is the duel of the fates.
Yes, it just keeps happening. Yeah. So that's the thing. You killed my Qui-Gon last season.
I feel like you killed your Qui-Gon last season. I was just there.
Whatever. I had bad dice. So yeah, anyway, this is this team. He has an Agi-5 Leaper, but he doesn't have Strip Ball on it, which wouldn't matter against my team anyway. And he doesn't have Tackle on it, and he doesn't have Dauntless on it, so my thrower's fine. He's got Nerves of Steel on a Movement 9 catcher, which is pretty cool. That's good for one turning. You've got Strength 4, Wrestle, Tackle. And this is the one piece that above all others needs to get removed for me.
But he's so friendly. Why would you want to do anything to him?
Maybe All Out. That is not a friendly name.
Well, he's way better than just All Out or not All Out.
I guess
that guy just died in his first game.
And then not K-Joy or K-Joe. K-Joe.
And you have to pronounce the 7 exclamation marks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not K-Joe.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean that's.
I wasn't ready for that, but yeah, that's cool. So K-Joe, with his Mighty Blow, also gets a notable mention in targeting. Your Frenzy piece doesn't have Leap, so I'm only semi-aware of its presence. And then
yes, forget about it. It does nothing. The Frenzy piece is actually the biggest killer on my team.
I believe it. Yeah.
just because he gets more blocks than anybody else.
Yep, exactly. So let's take a look over at my team and why I'm not so worried about the Frenzy piece. Because I got 2 stand firm pieces in the last 2 games to add to the one that I already had. So provided you don't get removals, I don't have to worry about your 1 turn.
Oh, yeah, provided I don't get removals.
I have to put the caveat in there because you killed my killer last season.
And are you? I mean, since my team's basically where it's going to be at for our game, are you gonna close your club out?
Probably.
You gonna get rid of your rest area?
I do carry the bribe stadium, and I do have a dirty player with kick that I would like to have both value and kick. So that bribe is still on the table. I'm gonna quote Pete Carroll, the Seahawks coach, and say it's gonna be a game time decision.
Oh God.
As is my chainsaw, as is my black orc, as is
Yeah,
I can't buy the black orc or the lineman because you didn't buy a bench.
Yeah. It's almost like not buying a bench actually helped me.
Almost. We'll see how
Almost.
it plays out. We'll see how it plays out. But
if you scum a chainsaw, then you won't be able to buy a black arc for your pig sofa game.
yeah, I'm not focusing on that game because if I don't win this game, next game doesn't matter. I'm deleting the team if I don't win this game.
Oh.
Like not next game. I'll play pig sofa. I'm not gonna
too late.
Gengar. But I mean I'm gonna
Take your season ban.
I'm not gonna take a ban. I'm gonna play it out. I'm just saying after the end of the season, this team's done if I don't make playoffs.
So what are you gonna play next season?
I already made the team. It's tit for tat. It's similarly themed, with actresses that have tattoos.
Aren't
And
you
it's a
a
chaos team.
father now?
It's not yet.
Oh, okay.
It's on the way. April.
All right. Okay.
It'll be season
fine.
11. I have to worry about that, or season 9
Oh, okay.
rather.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I chainsaw would be helpful. It also gives me bench. It also gives me a reason to keep the bribe stadium. It's also taking away a black orc. But I've done better without that black orc.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
because you've been playing agility teams.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's tough. It's tough. I may do that. Anyway, my team, the reason why I like it right now where it's at, it's got a buttload of guard. It's got 4 tackle. It's got 3 stand firm. It's got juggernaut. And my ball carrier is still pretty much impervious to 90% of the 90% of the pieces in the league. So
But how is it against wizards?
it gets knocked out just about every single time it gets hit by a lightning bolt. So
Excellent.
yeah, and I'll even show it on the stats here. Knockouts inflicted. Not inflicted, it's sustained. 4 KOs sustained. All 4 of them were lightning bolts.
That probably means mine's gonna roll a 1. God dang it.
It's so due. It's so due. 2 of them are Iron Master, so.
Yeah, his lightning bolt killed my my leaper. That was fun.
He loves his wizards. So, anyway, that's his team. That's where we're at. That's Division 2. I guess we could pop in and look at one other team from here.
Let's look at Zark's team.
Okay, yeah. So he's got some Kingmaker potential with his team. It's mostly low-level Wood Elves with inducements.
I'm really surprised he went Frenzy on his War Dancer.
I mean, Strip Ball isn't very useful in Division 2. It just really isn't.
Tackle? Something not... like, I just don't... I guess.
I mean, Frenzy will help him 1 turn. Frenzy's poor man's tackle. I don't know. I get it. I like Frenzy.
I like it. I just... You only got the 2 War Dancers.
Yeah. He can induce a tackle piece, can't he?
Yeah, like a tackle lineman. Yeah.
I think that was where he was going with it. I think he's got a tackle star player too, doesn't he? The chick, Zara. She doesn't have tackle. She has stab, blodge. Never mind. I don't know. I thought there was another way he can get tackled, but he's probably doing Eldril, if anything, against another elf team.
Does the War Dancer star player have tackle?
Jordell.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't play enough Wood
Yeah,
Elves.
I don't remember. Yeah, me neither.
I can't think of any star players that have tackle.
I know the High Elf one does. The Strength 4 one. It has Wrestle, Block, Dauntless on Strength 4, go figure, and then Tackle.
Yeah, for when you really need to hit one of those
Blodge, Big Men.
Yeah.
That Blodge Death Roller.
Well, I mean, it would be really good for hitting your thrower.
Well, it's Strength 4 too, so you wouldn't need the Dauntless. But yes, that would be something to consider or worry about had I been giving you inducements. Not going to happen. I actually, for those of you that don't know, I even threatened him. Yeah, if he had any MMGs, I would have fired one of my blitzers and cycled it just to avoid giving him a scum wizard.
Like, I wish that I had a girlfriend who cared about me as much as Brazzers cares about this game. Like, holy shit.
I can't even deny it, man. I can't even deny it. I really can't. Anyway, moving on to Division 1. This one's pretty close too. I did not expect it. 130 actually commented on the preseason video that Rumblebee Fiction and I did, and how wrong we were, which was really fun.
Well, yeah, because you guys picked, like...
Lumi, Horny.
Yeah.
I picked Kool-Aid, and then I picked Sace.
Well,
so
Sace is still in it, isn't he?
Yeah, Kool-Aid's in it for sure. And the thing is the other three of my picks are all competing for the same spot. So theoretically, Lumi and Horny Cricket could get there, but they would take Sace's place, which is actually already being held by Ornan. But I can say confidently that none of us saw 130 or Ornan dominating.
Ornan's the one with the cool Norse team, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I still don't understand it, but I like it.
It works in the sense of it's a control team that gets removals, and once you're down pieces to it, he's got the bench that you could never catch up. And he's just got stats galore. Let's start by looking at them, actually, before I look at anything else. I'm doing this out of order. So, week 9, really quickly, before I jump too far into that. Necronomics lost to Saskatoon Shiners, making it very hard for Horny Cricket to return to the playoffs. Knights Who Said Knee got the big upset over the Booze Crews, but at this point, they're both kind of out of the playoffs anyway, so it's not really an upset. Animal Farm got a 2-2 draw over to Eat Eat Man Things, making it harder for Sace to make the playoffs. New Day Co-op lost 0-2 to Gloom and Zoom, confirming Fiction is God. USS Sulaco got the 1-0 win over Cheese Tactics, surprising Cheese. Mennonites lost 0-2 to New Year's Norse. New Year's Norse has just been a wrecking ball, which we'll look at how that match was kind of perfectly designed for them to win. Pastry Pest 1-1 draw to Tadpoles in the Big City. That one's kind of keeping Lumi in the same place where he was before, but 130 making him a little bit more vulnerable. That was week 9. I went too far back. Week 10, Necronomics won 1-0 over Sace. So again, Sace slipping. New Day Co-op 2-1 over Knights Who Said Knee. USS Sulaco lost to Saskatoon Shiners. Mennonites lost to the Booze Crews. Pastry Pest lost to Eat Eat Man Things. Tadpoles in the Big City lost to Fiction. Again, Fiction just can't be beat right now. New Year Norse 2-1 over Cheese Tactics.
Was the Sulaco game, was that the one where he only had 2 sources and a Crocs?
Sounds about right. Necronomics 3-0 win over Cheese Tactics. Eat Eat Man Things lost to Tadpoles in the Big City. Booze Crews lost to the Pastry Pests. Saskatoon Shiners lost to Men in Tights. 0-3. So that's the much needed win for Slightly Bent. Knights Who Said Knee 1-1 draw. 1-2 loss. Sace versus New Day Co-op. So looking at the leaderboard, Fiction's in number 1. The division is going to be held up a week. They're going to try and wait for Fiction to return from his honeymoon to play his game against Ornan before moving the week forward. And then Kool-Aid is kind of right there behind him, as close as anybody else is anyway. Right now, points-wise, it's 23 points for Gloom and Zoom, 22 points for New Day Co-op, but Gloom and Zoom still has the game to play against Ornan, so he could go up to 26 points, which would put him safely above Kool-Aid.
Well, and even if they don't play, I mean,
He's going to be up by 1 point.
Yeah, he's still going to be up.
Yeah. 130 is comfortable at 20 points. New Year Norse is vulnerable at 17. Right behind him is Sace at 16. Ornan does have the game to play as well, though. So if Ornan wins that one, there's a 4-point gap between 4th place and 5th place. And that's pretty solid considering there's only 2 games left to play after that for everybody else. I wish I had a 4-point lead right now in our division.
Yeah, because a 4-point lead means that somebody has to
Lose twice.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah. Which I don't think is very likely.
No. So that's why we're waiting to see what happens if Fiction gets to play Ornan, because defaulting that pretty much seals this division. And then behind Sace is also Horny Cricket and Lumi, who are theoretically able to catch up in points as long as Ornan loses out. If they pass Sace as well. So, looking at the schedule, the games that are still to be played, obviously we just talked about the Fiction Ornan one. And then Pastry Pest, so they're the furthest out. They have USS Sulaco and Necronomics. Necronomics have Men in Tights and then the Pastry Pest. So either one of those teams, only one of them can compete with Sace, depending on what he does, to take the Ornan spot, assuming Ornan loses. Sace gets to say whether or not Ornan loses week 12, so that's probably the biggest match of that week.
And then he gets to fight Fiction last week.
Yeah. So an uphill battle for Sace, but I mean, if he wants the spot, it's in his hands. He can take it. But it's also very possible that he wins one and loses one, and that is exactly what is needed for one of the previous Super Bowl champs, either Necronomics or the Pastry Pest, sneak in there in 4th place at the very last week. Provided that Ornan is losing against USS Sulaco. So, my money is on Ornan keeping this 4th seed, one way or another. But we talked about that team a bunch, so let's go ahead and look at it, which is where I was starting at. New Year's North, 2nd page. And yeah, so this has the Yeti that everybody likes. AV9. Stand firm Juggernaut. Doesn't even need block. Stat ups galore. So you've got another armor up piece on his Piling On Tackle Pro Berserker. And if you're going to get an armor up on a Norse Berserker, I don't hate it as his level 6 skill. Either you guys play Norse?
No, but I imagine it helps him survive some fouls.
Mm-hmm.
In AV8 is useful for surviving fouls over AV7. I think I would have taken the movement.
Yeah.
You mean put movement on a frenzy piece and on your killer?
Yeah, that's true. Actually, a good point. It looks like he has lost Shadowing piece.
It's still there.
Oh, there it is. Yep, that's what I was looking for. So I was going to say, you don't really need the movement when you've got a piece that just follows everybody for you. So yeah, he's got his Strength 4 Shadowing Tackle Frenzy Pro piece.
I don't understand Frenzy. Once again, like, you already have 4 Frenzy on this team.
He likes it.
So it's a lineman. It's only got normals access. So
And get some strip ball. It might come in handy every once in a while.
Yeah, that's true, especially against like Eisenmike's skinks.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair. That's actually a decent thought. It does seem like he's cycling a lot, but because he's winning so much, I mean, he's only at 12 pieces. I would have to look at the league manager to see how often he's replacing things. But yeah, it's just some interesting pieces here. The other Berserker is all control, diving tackle, stand firm. He's got a runner that's Blodge steps, diving tackle. So 2 diving tackle, a Blodge, Ulf winner, a couple dirty players. I mean, when you look at it, it's just not that intimidating, Sure, there's a couple strength ups, but it's really just doing more things in real life than it should be doing, or than it appears to be doing on paper. Lost a guard lineman. And there we go. That was the other one I was looking for. So he had a movement up piece, and that's probably why he took the armor up. He had a movement up runner. No, that was the lineman that was built like the runner. So this lineman is movement 7, dauntless, sure hands, kickoff, return, fend. And that one died recently.
So it's a runner.
Yeah, essentially. Without agility access.
Yeah.
I had 81 SPP, so he's looking for a new ball carrier, is where it's at. I do like the guard, tackle, block lineman, but this is just one of those teams that makes really good use of their linemen, even though they're leveling them up. A lot of teams don't level up the linemen very well, and so maybe that's what's so odd about it.
Yeah, and then he just puts the linemen in with the good players, and it confuses people.
Yeah. I mean, it does. It's very strange. Any other teams you guys want to look at in Division 1?
I want to look at Sace's team.
Yeah, okay. He's got a chance to make his own destiny.
He's got a chance to make all those armor ups mean nothing.
It's true. 1900 TV.
Which means that he could get a whiz. Got just enough money.
Yep. I'm going to go ahead and pick on the things that Sage and Metal picked on in this week's podcast.
Did they? I haven't watched the podcast yet. Oops.
Yep. So Sage was on there, and he knows a little bit more about Chaos, or just about a little bit more about everything than I do. And the thing that he picked on, well, Metal picked on and Sage agreed, is the jump up on the Chaos Warrior being the weird thing. And I think we even talked about it when I had Sace on here. It's about the movement, not about the jump up block, which a 3+ isn't terrible. But just being able to...
And it looks like he got it before he got an agility bust.
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awkward. I don't think jump up's the right double for a Chaos Warrior. I also don't think Chaos Warriors need doubles. I don't really take doubles on my Black Orcs. I pass them all up for the most part. Unless I already got guard, block, mighty blow, stand firm, then I would take dodge. But if you're gonna take a double, I would almost rather see him take diving tackle, and then do like tail, diving tackle, stand firm, or something. Other stuff on the team. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, no, you just go block, mighty blow, or guard, claw, tackle, and then you have the 4 best warriors in the game.
Well, and he's got a couple that are like that, to be fair. So he's just got the one weird one that started with strength up. But like Mr. Pilkington, guard, block, stand firm, tackle. Perfect. Standard. Mr. Jones, block, guard, claw, mighty blow, stand firm. A little weird that you got claw before mighty blow, but whatever. It's a good combination now. Mr. Whemper, of course, is pure killer with piling on.
Yeah, the killer of the ogres.
Well, that's Mr. Frederick. Yeah.
What? I thought it was Whemper.
The strength 5 one. No. That's what's even weirder. Yeah, it doesn't need claw. Gets done without the claw.
Nice.
And then as far as the Beastmen go, this is where he's taken his losses, but really all it's done is keep him trim. He's got 4 tackle now. The Rackle piece is really nice. He talks very highly about it. He's got a true killer that does work with horns, and 1 ball carrier. The only thing that I think is probably a weakness is because he's so specialized on his Beastmen that if any of the 3, which are specialized, goes down, there's no one that can pick up the slack. And I would probably like to see him get, another semi-ball carrier or maybe ball recovery piece in case the ball carrier goes down.
Yeah, just if one of these guys gets agility.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think that's probably the only exploitable weakness I could see in the levels. And he lost, it looks like, another Rackle piece earlier this season. And a wrestler. So he's been really trying to get Rackle. I think he
It's
had
pretty
a
good.
wrestle dodge one. But yeah, it's a good team. Like I said, I called him out at the start of the season. If he didn't make playoffs this season, what's it going to take? Because his team's in good shape.
It's going to take getting moved to a division that doesn't have 2 Super Bowl winners and werewolves that are all strength 4 and...
Yeah, we could all Rumblebee and get demoted.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, whatever. I'm in
I win
position
too
to
much
win
for
my
that.
division.
I just win too
So-
much. I don't make playoffs, but I still win games. Take 4th place.
Do
And
you?
then,
Is that
'Cause-
really winning though?
well, okay,
Yeah,
actually,
right?
no, you know what? The call out is actually right. I don't win. I draw games. I draw so many games that I get promoted and not relegated.
Yeah, it's because the rest of us win and or lose games.
That's
That happened
that's a fair
my
call out.
my first season. I had like 8 draws, and I got promoted to Div 2, and I was not ready for it.
If I had even one movement 7 or movement 8 piece, I might consider trying to score with 2 turns left, but doesn't really work out when your fastest pieces or your ball carrier's movement 5.
Well, I mean, he's movement 8 on the turn that you need him to be.
If I if I go back to a troll and a goblin, maybe I could start playing that way. But
Yeah, bring back Ron Jeremy.
yeah, Ron Jeremy the second and Piper Perry.
Or would you go with what's his face? The guy porn star, super famous.
I was gonna say it's probably gonna be James Dean. If I was
Yeah.
to, yeah, he's a little bit abusive, so
I was just gonna say he's
Well.
just gonna end up eating your goblin.
exactly. Well, so Ron Jeremy did eat a goblin against Owned my first season, so and that was when I needed a 1 turn. Anyway,
I mean, are you ever in a situation where you're throwing a goblin where you don't need a 1 turn?
all the time.
He thrown to break cages.
Or just to make a annoyance more than anything. Nothing better to do with a troll when it's not next to somebody.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because half the time it's not even going to move. But that's why I got rid of the troll.
This is why I don't play teams like that, because 100% of the time I'm gonna throw that goblin.
It's tempting. It's very tempting.
I can't stop myself. It's like when I have leap. I leap every turn, no matter what. That's why I'll
Yeah.
never make a Kislev team.
Once I got a wrestle goblin on my clan team, and naturally I had to throw it at the cage, and one time it made the red die, and it was so beautiful. It was so beautiful. And so, of course, since I did it once, I had to try it every other time, and 12 other times of trying, it did not work.
I mean,
But it worked once.
statistically, it's probably only supposed to work about 1 time out of 13. So
Yeah,
you're
something
probably,
like that.
Yeah, you're probably doing all right.
Yeah, it was good when it lasted. That's all. But that's gonna, I guess, wrap it up for us, guys. Any closing thoughts? Any predictions? I guess we didn't do predictions for each of them. I made mine, but who do you guys think is gonna go? And we'll just go reverse order. So Division 1, I like the top 4 as they are. No upsets, no surprises. Any of you guys want to pick Sace or Horny or Lumi?
I chose Lumi to lose in the first round in the first bracket challenge I ever did, and that's the season that he won the Super Bowl. So Lumi is going to get the 4th spot in this one.
Never bet against the Rats, huh?
Yeah.
I'm gonna give that 4th spot to Cricket. Gotta.
Betting against the Rats, huh?
I'm gonna bet against the Rats.
I think whether or not either of them are even eligible to make the playoffs, I do think that Week 13 game is going to be a hell of a game between Necronomics and Pastry Pest.
I think it's going to depend on how much Lumi can win and also get some Storm Vermin SPP. Because 2 brand new, fresh out of the box Storm Vermins is real tough.
Yeah, that's true. I think I just like what, but you know what? You're right, because and it'll depend on when they play. Because if Sace doesn't beat Ornan, then there's no real stakes at that point. Ornan's clinched it. But if Sace beats Ornan and hasn't played yet, they would be playing without knowing if they're playing for a spot or not. So they would probably be both playing like there is a spot. and I think that would change the way they play. Because I mean, I've called it out before too. Lumi plays very conservative at the start of the season, and then plays a lot more aggressive as the season goes on to try and clinch that spot. And so, if he thinks there's a spot available, he'll play really aggressive for it, and that's what I want to see.
Yeah, that'd be real sweet. I would be hyped for that game.
Yeah, that could be potentially really good. Well, I'm glad you guys didn't pick obvious answers. Now I'm going to make you guys pick a really tough decision. Who's going to go for Division 2?
Hang on. Let me make sure that it's even mathematically.
If you say Gengar and Zwark and Golgothan, I don't know that that's possible.
No, I was actually gonna go Yayo me Pig.
Pig.
Yeah, because I'm gonna beat you, and then that's gonna demoralize you, and then Pig's just gonna roll over you.
Oh God.
Dun, 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 dun.
It hurts. I already feel the ulcer growing.
I for one welcome our new elf overlords.
Oh God. That would be the elf dream is going to be Duberman, Arch, and Zwark, and I think that is possible.
I think that is probably a pipe dream. I don't see Yayo not going.
Really? He's only 1 point up, but maybe.
Yeah, and he got beat really bad playing Gengar. Like,
Yeah.
he's hurt.
But he only has to win one game.
Yeah,
And
I guess that's fair.
I don't know, man. Ladeus has been my boy ever since I crushed him. He has been really putting it to everyone that's ahead of me.
I mean, he has embraced the life of Cain.
He took out Golgothan. I think he took out Duberman too.
Well, and he has like the most kills of any team in the season.
Yeah, it's really scary. Like, and he's got to. So Yayo's got to go through Ladeus, while Ladeus is on his like rage mode warpath, whatever anime thing it is when the girl dies in the anime and the guy goes full rage mode.
He's filming terms of enrampagement.
Something like
That's how
that.
it goes.
It's
Yep.
just
It's a
all
working
Kill Bill.
title.
Yeah, it's all Kill Bill sirens.
That's what it
for
is.
Ladeus, yeah.
Yep. Just for the last 6 weeks, nothing but Kill Bill sirens ever since I killed Daisy. So okay,
You monster.
Rumble.
You monster.
Rumble, what was your pick?
I'm gonna pick Golgothan to pass both you and Arch, if only because
Because
Arch
you think
made
we're
the
gonna
playoffs
tie?
because Arch made the playoffs last season and he held that stupid red name over me the entire time.
It's the only reason to go into playoffs.
Well,
It's
that and
a
I
good
want to
reason.
make it far enough to get the hype video. I
Yeah,
need a
that's
Rumble hype video.
that is low key why I need to win so bad. I just want
Yeah, I want that hype video.
I want a Brazzers hype video. I want to see how bad Herring Zord goes into the blue.
If I make it that far to my hype video, I want my intro song to say, "Are you ready to rumble?"
Nice. That's
Just-
okay.
I'm just
That's
saying.
that's
Yeah,
pretty
yeah,
good.
I want that.
That's pretty
If
good.
you're listening, Herring Zord, I want that.
That's pretty
Please.
good. I think that he set the bar so high last season with those
We're
hype
so good.
videos that were like, I don't know that he realized what can of worms he unleashed when he did that, because I
Like,
think
that's why I'm playing this season sober. I want to make the playoffs.
I think just about every coach wants a hype video.
Yeah,
So
yeah, oh yeah.
that's definitely a thing.
I haven't thought about it enough to think about what song choice.
It's gonna be one of the anime ones, so yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be like Spaceship Yamato or something.
Yeah.
Something epic and
Final
dumb.
predictions, Division 3.
Wait, did we get your predictions for Division 2?
Mine for Division 2? It was Duberman. I'm not giving mine actually.
Curse yourself. Curse yourself.
You set me up there, damn you. I'm not doing it. I'm not falling for it. So anyway, on to Division 3. It's too close to call Division 2. I can't jinx myself. Kasabulu definitely taking first seed for me. And then I like it as is, Rumblebee and then Tommy Tuttle. Although Tommy Tuchel, I'm going to say, is probably get second seed over Rumblebee, tiebreaker reasons.
Yeah, he's got the least losses, and if he wins his game, he'll have the same TD diff as me.
Or I'll just go 2-0 and pass you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. I could see that happening.
But, hear me out. Bulu could drop his game to elf bullshit, because that's what Luke Sama likes to do. And I might beat the rats, and I could pass him. I'm only 1 point down.
So you
I'm
come in
saying, I'm
second.
just saying.
So you're saying you'd come in second after Timmy Tutal because he would pick up his third game.
No. Tommy Tuchel's going to drop a game.
Another
Okay.
game? Okay.
I want first. First seed. First seed or bust.
Yeah.
More likely, I'm going to end up in third, though.
Like when you get held back in kindergarten and your finger paints are just so much better than everybody else's.
You know what? Why do I even do these? Want to just tell me to blitz a scoring threat while we're at it?
No, that's the easy meme. That's too easy. All right. Well, thanks for coming on, guys. I didn't bust your balls too much, but
I had a good time.
yeah, it is a good time. It is a good time, and you guys get to come back for Duel of the Fates later tonight.
Oh yeah, I'll be there.
I'm not streaming it, but you can do the Radio Rebel. And that I should plug that. Yeah, if you guys don't have streaming setups, but you are going to be watching games live, hop into the Radio Rebel channel in Discord and just type what's happening and maybe take some screenshots. I think it's a really cool thing, and it happened to be Rumblebee's idea.
It was my idea, but I was not the admin to implement it. I was the Wozniak to Ken's Steve Jobs, so we'll give him the credit.
I mean, let's
And
be
I was
real.
the-
I
I
was
was
the
the
one
trend-
who did it all last playoffs, so really
It's
it
true,
was
you
my
did.
idea.
I was going to say, I'm the trendy hipster that made it cool. Good times. All right, guys. Thanks for coming on. Arch.
Thanks for having me.
Don't you do it, man. Don't you
No,
fucking do it.
one of us is going to win this game. I'm just going to say that
Okay,
right now.
okay, that's fine. It's fine. As long as you don't draw me out, because that's my thing. And I'm not doing
I
it.
want it to be the Orcs.
I will
because
only.
I'm gonna hold that.
I
I'm gonna
will-
hold that red name over you.
God.
In fact, I'm gonna change your name to a pink name in the Discord just to rub it in further.
That's
I don't
fine.
even know if I have that power. I don't even know if I have that power.
Oh, well.
I probably don't.
You have to create a new role. I don't know if you can create roles. I can assign roles. So if I wanted to give somebody a color, I could, but I can't create them.
Is it pink to represent how close we came to the red name? Is that what's happening?
God, that's maximum salt. Don't do that. That just hurts. No. Alright.
I'll be honest. I really want the trade commissioner name color. That gold is good stuff.
That's for all the bribes.
Yeah, pretty much. Which
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to see him about a guard line elf after this season's over.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna be doing a video about the player market, so maybe I'll have you guys come back for that. Talk through all the different pieces. But anyway, I'm trying to wrap this up. We're at an hour. So thanks again, guys. See you next
All
time.
right. All right.